Thank you for joining us today, Rosdiana. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi there.
Morning.
Glad to have you back here on the C Morning Show. So let's talk a little bit about savior complex today. It's a bit of a gray area for me, so
Right.
perhaps we need you to help define it because I myself personally, I love helping others, and it does give me some sort of validation and sort of makes me happy to help others. So where exactly do we draw the line where if we cross over, it becomes savior complex?
So when a person has this savior complex, the person will feel valid, useful or worthy when we can help.
Okay,
While other who only likes to help, we help when we can help.
right.
And we also feel worthy because of our job, because of our role as a friend or as a parent. Like we feel worthy
Okay.
already. So we don't need or we don't have this necessity to help others to feel worthy.
Okay, so there are other aspects in our lives that bring us happiness as well. It's not
Right.
just that. Okay.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes,
But
and
Diana-
we are not.
Go ahead.
Sorry, continue.
Yes.
Right.
And we are not always feel obligated to help.
Okay.
Right, there's the obligation to help. That's how they feel. Right, I was discussing about this with Paul just now because it seems like there's a thin borderline between helping and actually having the savior complex. Where is that line, Doctor?
So the line is where we are not always feel obligated, and actually we know which like who can we help and who we can't help,
Okay.
and it doesn't have to be like we need to help this person until we have to sacrifice our needs also. So we know that we need to also protect our needs.
So don't go out of your way
and
too
not
much.
like sacrificing.
Correct.
And not sacrificing ourselves to help others.
Right. So, but Diana, when we talk about savior complex, who are we hurting more? Is it like, say I have savior complex, is that more towards me and what the damage that I'm doing in my own life? Or is it actually can impact negatively towards those that I'm trying to help? Or is it both?
That's actually both, and maybe not only both, but can be like three parties.
Oh, yeah.
It also it also can hurt the people that like close to us. Say for example, we trying to help this person, and then we spend a lot of time or a lot of money to help this person. So basically, it is hurting us because we are sacrificing our time,
Right.
and it's hurting him because it's not helping the person actually.
Right.
Right? Because we are we always hear the saying that we have to give the bait and not the fish.
Correct.
Yeah, because we are actually not helping, and then actually we also hurting the people that maybe, say for example, our family that also needs our time and our money.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of times as well, you can hurt the person you're trying to help because, let's say, you throw money at the problem, or I guess the term I'm familiar with is if you give a man a fish, then you only feed him for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, you're actually helping him for life.
That's
So there you
a
go.
lot
Yeah.
longer. All
Makes
right.
sense.
Yeah, so basically we're not helping, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just spoiling them.
Right.
Basically, yeah.
Right. Right, Doctor. So we've rounded up a few questions from our viewers here. Let's bring up some of them. All right. So the first question, Doctor, that is asked through us. I feel like my relationship with my partner is no longer healthy, but I'm afraid that I could ruin him if we break up. What should I do, Doctor?
Well, how do we know that? How can we be sure that we are gonna ruin him?
Right.
Is it him is gonna be ruined or us?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's always better to to be honest to each other and to talk, to like to express our feelings and see what can we do from from that point. Or we can always go and see a marriage counselor.
Is this a typical savior complex problem, Rosdiana?
The typical savior complex will always try to help someone. can be also the spouse. Always understanding, always always spoiling them, and then this is the dangerous thing. Maybe also our friend has a psychological issue that need to be helped by a professional.
Yeah.
And then when we always try to help, maybe we are not doing the right way. We're not doing it the right way.
Yeah, I find that this happens a lot as well because we're always part of, let's say, chat groups with close groups of friends. And sometimes you hear one trying to help the other and giving advice, not necessarily advice that they're qualified to give, especially when it comes to something that is a marriage problem for somebody who is unmarried or, a psychological problem for somebody who is not qualified to do so. All right, so we've got more questions here from our citizens that we've rounded up via social media. Our next one, let's have a look at it. Okay, it says, I have this one friend who always offers me to lend some amount of money from him or to borrow some money from him, even though our salaries are not much different. Okay, so basically this is somebody who is asking to borrow money from that you pretty much have the same salary, you make similar jobs. So what is the right way here? What is the advice that we should give?
So this person always asks us to borrow him money.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay. So if you don't have money, then don't give them.
Yeah,
Simple
it's a
as
tricky
that.
situation when it comes to money, right? Because
Yeah.
money is already such a sensitive issue
Yeah.
to begin with. And if it is a friend,
Yes.
it's hard to turn somebody down, Madiana.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's also money can break people. It can break family, and it's also always can break
Right.
friendship.
Right.
Right.
But
So if we wanna help, I think it's better for us to talk to the person and why you need the money.
right.
Okay.
So we know whether maybe if really the parents is sick, if he really needs the money, then maybe we can borrow some if we have it.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's difficult if we don't have money. What money can we borrow
What
him?
can we do? That's
So
right.
yeah, so we cannot do anything anyway. So and then we know whether he really needs the money or he just have this lifestyle that's bigger than the salary.
All right. It's interesting that Paul said that sometimes it's a tricky situation here. But Diana, when we feel that, okay, it's a tricky situation, when the answer is actually clear, so don't give it if you don't have it.
But we feel uncomfortable.
That's right.
Right.
Is that a savior complex we're feeling?
Well, it's not only on that occasion that we can quote unquote diagnose ourselves as this savior complex.
Right.
It have to be with also a lot of event occasion also.
Sure.
But sometimes it's difficult for us not to give money because it's our friend.
Sure.
And we have this culture that if it's a friend, it's a family, then we have to try our best
You
to
have to
help.
do everything you can.
And
Right.
it's like, and money is actually the easiest thing that we can give, right? Rather than we have to give time or we have to give advice that actually we don't know what to say.
Right.
Yeah, but it's a trick. Money is tricky. I have one tip that that I also usually use when I borrow money to a friend. I will borrow the person money if I know that I don't need the money back.
Correct. I was just going to say the same thing. My family has that rule. My
Yeah.
sister always taught me that. Look, if your friend really needs money,
Yeah.
you just make sure that it's within your capability that if you do lend them that money,
Yeah.
that you're prepared to just let it go.
Right.
Because you don't want the money that you've lent to ruin your friendship if
Right.
their friendship is that
Yes.
important. Because that way you know you're not going out of your way and giving them too much money because you're prepared to lose it at this
Right.
point. And if you get it back, hey, great, because you preserve that friendship and you're able to help. But when it comes to money problems, it is very difficult because
Very tricky.
there has to be an underlying issue why this person needs money. And I guess the best way to help is to talk to them and find out and try to find a solution together.
Yes.
That's right. All right. Diana, we have one more question here from our citizens. Does ignoring calls and text messages from a colleague outside working hours count as selfish?
Uh-oh.
I,
Did I send that one?
I feel like I need some personal time to rest and do something else in my leisure time. That's Instagram post from
Ooh.
Joshua.
Yeah.
What do you think, Madia?
Okay, interesting question. I think it happens with all of us.
It does hit home, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think it needs our wisdom. So to know whether we really need to answer the text or the phone call. Maybe we have this like a huge deadline that we need to finish, or like a big project. Then sometimes we need to answer it. But if it's not, then it's not.
Right.
So it's not being selfish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like me with my clients, I have to know which one that I have to answer and which one is not.
Right.
Personal wisdom.
But that's so with a client though, because I could easily draw the lines when it comes to, let's say, a client or customer, because those are working hours. But when it comes to your colleague, isn't that a bit trickier, Mbak Diana? Because let's say I'm very committed to my job and my career, and helping out my colleague is part of my job as well. So where do we draw the line there? What if I'm too tired and I'm kind of burnt out, but I still feel the need, because I'm committed to my job, to help out my colleague as part of my career and part of my job?
If we are helping because we feel worthy by helping, then maybe we have the savior complex.
Yes,
Maybe
there
he
you go.
doesn't need our help, yeah, but he just asks because we always help.
Yes. There are some
Right.
people who do that, right?
Right.
Even back in school.
Right, when colleagues know that you can do more, they'll
Yeah,
actually
people,
ask
people
more.
tend to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, people tend to do that. If we help, then they usually, make use of our kindness.
Right.
And they just ask us for help. So that's why we need the wisdom to know whether the person really needs help or not.
So,
So if we cannot say no all the time, then we might think that we might have the savior complex.
okay. Mariana, thank you, by the way, to all the viewers, those that sent in your questions. Sorry if we didn't get to yours. But Mariana, how do we tell if someone close to us, and we don't have to be directly involved in it. Let's say I'm the third party here. As you mentioned, there could be a third party, but somebody close to me does have this savior complex. I could see the signs, all the things that we're talking about. How do we identify, and how do we approach them if this is something that is of concern?
So if you acknowledge that this person often sacrificing his own needs to help others, or if you ask why you always help people, and then the answer is, because I feel the obligation to help, I feel worthy if I helping people, then the person might have the savior complex. And then the better thing to do is just to talk with the person. And also we can share our feeling to him, like, you know what, you're canceling on me because you want to help other people, you don't have time also so he can also see from other perspective, the perspective that he might not think about before.
Yeah,
Right.
because I would think it's a bit tricky in that sense too, because you don't want to bring somebody down because there maybe the intention is good, they're trying to help, and you don't want to bring them down because of that, but you also want to bring this issue up
Right.
if it is a problem.
Right. But Diana, is
Yeah.
there a point where the savior complex actually needs professional help to really fix, the way someone thinks?
Yeah. When it's become out of line, that the person doesn't have time for himself or for the family, or it can be very stressful also for the person,
Yeah.
showing the sign of depression,
Getting sick, maybe.
anxiety because he cannot help,
Right.
becoming too tired of helping.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. Now, how do we measure our capabilities then, Diana, to make sure that we don't go over the line and we don't put ourselves or our loved ones close to us out because we're trying so hard to help others? How do we measure our own capabilities?
Where the money part is actually easier,
Okay.
right? Because we know actually like how much that we can
Sure.
spend. The knowledge and the skill is quite hard. So for example, the marriage situation,
Yeah.
right? Because I am married for 22 years, it doesn't mean that I can answer all of the marriage problem.
Right.
But usually I think I have, like I'm valid because it's been 20 years plus marriage, right?
Yeah, we all feel
So
that
that's the
way.
tricky
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, we feel that way. We have
Yeah.
kids, so I can give kids advice to anyone, which is not true at all.
That's right.
Yeah, true. So I think we always have to remember that it's the different situation with people. So my situation, my feeling, my perspective might different with others.
Right.
Right.
So, but if I cannot understand the perspective or the emotion of other, it means that I don't have the capability to help.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Because what I usually do to try to avoid trying to be a know-it-all, if you will, is instead of trying to help you solve your problem, I'll just tell you if I had a similar experience and what happened with me. And maybe you
Right.
can draw something from it, whether it's good or bad. But
It's
all
up
I
to
can do
you.
is share what I know and what I've been through. I cannot tell you exactly what to do because I don't know.
All right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
This
and
is-
don't be upset, right? If
Yeah.
if they don't follow
that's-
our advice.
exactly. Yeah, that's it. Take what you can from it. Hopefully it helps. Anyway, thank you so much, Madiana, for this more in-depth look into savior complex. We do know that, especially Indonesians, we love so much to help others, and we got to make sure that we're doing it the right way and we are actually helping instead of hindering. Again, thanks for your time.
Thank you,
Hope to talk to you again.
Thank you for letting me be.
Take care.
Good morning.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Have a
You
nice
too.
day
Stay safe.